Okay, here we are. Sorry I'm late. Day got away from me. I was trying to shove something down my throat. Oh. All right. A little cool. Although it's not cold outside, so I don't know. Whatever, right? Okay, let's see here. It's complaining about my bitrate being slow again, or being low again. I don't know what that's all about. I said that before. Must be because of the resolution. I don't know. I did have to change the resolution because I changed video editors. I guess I could change it back. Let's see here. We could do that real fast just to see what happens. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. And we'll change it to auto. Apply. Just write down the old one, and that's not going to do anything. Okay, I'll just manually set it. There we go. So that's a lot bigger now. So is that better? Is that better? Does that change my what's up, Jeff? All right. Now it says good connection. I don't know that that made any difference, but whatever. We'll run with it. All right, so what's going on out there? Anything? Anything? Bueller? Bueller? All right. I don't really have a whole lot this week, but let me tilt that down a little. I was in training all week, and that's going well. I must say it's seems like it's going to be a pretty good gig. It's not the it's not a horrible job. At least it doesn't appear to be, which is good. I got to turn this on because I'm waiting to hear from my boys. But anyway, so what do we got here? I am working on the 104. But what I was going to talk about, well, first, what do we got to talk about? We got to talk about the SA2. Saturday is the deadline. Saturday the 29th. If you would like to win that, you know the drill. Send an image, photo, rock carving, petroglyph, whatever, of a recently completed build to ShutterAce at ShutterAce.com, and we'll put you in the raffle for that kit. Be aware that that is by doing that, you're giving us permission to use it in a YouTube video, or a video that will go up on YouTube, at least. Right? Anyway, we're going to use it for a public thing. So yeah, so I'm going to tilt this down here so you can see what I'm doing. And then while we're doing this, I'll talk about something else too. I don't know why this piece of paper is here, but it was there before. So this is the monogram F-104. I have got it pretty well sealed up. The door for the 20 millimeter M61's there. The speed brakes are in and filled in. And the intakes, they're pretty smooth now. The port one especially, the starboard one might still need a little bit of work. The pointy part, the seam's gone. So here's where I'm at, is in the process of getting rid of this seam here on the sides, I've flattened this out. So I need to build this back up so I can make it round again. So what I thought I would do, I spent so much time looking for this today. I actually have two of these, but I spent so much time looking for this today, and you know where it was? You know where it was? It was sitting on this desk over here to my left the whole time that I was looking for it. And I started looking for it yesterday. So anyway, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the sides of where it's, you know, where the curve is. Basically, I'm gonna tape it off so that the only part that's exposed is the flat part, and then I'm gonna put this glazing putty in there, and that's the plan anyway. So let me get my tape here. If you're wondering what this nice pastel tape is, it's washi tape. I get whatever the cheapest colors are because I'm gonna throw it away. Right? You can go to Amazon, you get like a box of 10 rolls for like 10 bucks shipped or something like that. So this one kind of rolls out right there. So I think I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go like this. That pretty good? That's pretty good. Yeah, this one doesn't seem like it's that bad. Okay. Rip that off there. And then this one is just like right there. So it's right in here where it's flat. Okay, now the other side. Right here. Got to bring it down a little. Wow, this stuff's sticky. Okay. And then this one, it's got to go right there. Now the best thing to do with this obviously would have been not to flatten it. But it's too late for that. So now I have not had this tube open in a while, so I don't know what to expect here. Oh yeah. Looks fine. Looks fine. Looks fine. then I am just going to come over here and find something that I can use as a spreader. What do I have here that I can use? There we go. It's a carving tool, but it'll work. And I'm just going to fill this in. Man, this stuff stinks. This is the good stuff. Lacquer-based spot putty. No messing around here. So yeah, so I am working, well, I'm training right now, but I'm training to be a CCA with the United States Postal Service. And I'm honestly pretty excited about it. It doesn't, it seems like so far that it's probably going to be a pretty good thing. And it's, you know, of course, I've seen a lot of griping by some people about it. But, you know, saying that it's, you know, the super hard job and this and that. I'm sure during the holidays it's going to be a nightmare. But my initial exposure this week hasn't really scared me. But, you know, there are a lot of people out there that are allergic to work, and I'm not one of them. Which is a good thing, because I like money. Actually, the people, my creditors like money. I like red meat and whiskey, personally. Oh, that one pulled up somehow. Oh, that's just the nose. Did I go too far on the other side? I went too far, huh? Okay, so I'm just going to lay this in here. And it's going on pretty thick because I really shaved it down quite a bit. But, I shaved the plastic down quite a bit when I was getting rid of the seam. Oh, I just blew all that right out of there. That might be pretty good. This stuff sands pretty easy. So I'm not really worried about sanding it out at all. Biggest problem is just keeping it round. Keeping it round, man. Keeping it round. Yeah, that side's thick. And this side is too, but it'll be okay. All right, so I am now going to pull this because I don't want it I don't want it becoming part of the putty, you know, all becoming one big thing. So I'm pulling the tape off while the putty's still fresh. And chances are I'm going to have to do this a few times before I get it right. There we go. And I can actually come back in here later with some lacquer thinner and just push that stuff right through. Form it with lacquer thinner. This side's really good. This side not so much. Still needs some work. I got some little dimples right up here that need to be filled. So tomorrow I get to go and learn how to drive the mail truck. So that should be fun. I went riding around on Friday with a regular, and that was enjoyable. Nice guy. You know, not intimidating at all. No, didn't have any issue with me asking tons of questions. It was really a pretty enjoyable day. All right, so there we are. So we're going to set that aside. Set that over here. I don't have any lacquer thinner here, do I, at this right now? I don't, so I'm just going to wipe this off. And I'll put some lacquer thinner in a tub here at some point this week and clean this all the way off. Anyway, so there we are. Boom, done. So there is that. What else are we doing? I see that my changing the resolution did absolutely nothing for the stream bit rate, so I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. So yeah, so that's the 104 is really the only thing I got that's really going, that's in production at the moment. We'll call it that. I'm still working on. I get a little bit cleaned out of here, and then I bring more in because I'm cleaning the storage space out. And I had one of those cheapo rollaway toolboxes that I had like all my extra paint and paint brushes and all that kind of stuff in. And my son needed it, so I pulled all that stuff out of it. So I've got, you know, these totes here, and I've got a box over here that's got stuff in it. So, you know, I've got this kind of stuff sitting around, which means I'm going to have to build some paint racks and whatnot, which is fine. Just gives me something else to do, right? Yeah, and I threw some stuff away and whatnot that just wasn't going to get finished, or was too messed up to make it salvageable. I had an Academy M10 that when I bought it second hand, and it had apparently been in somebody's attic because it was warped. The upper hull was warped. And in trying to unwarp it, I made it way worse than it was. And I had made a lot of mistakes on the kit because I didn't realize at Academy, I mean, they give you all different kinds of road wheels and all kinds of stuff. And I didn't necessarily use the right stuff in part of what I was doing. And I guess the what am I thinking? The interior. The interior is actually a Sherman interior, not an M10 interior. You know, again, I don't know, but so I didn't. So I didn't feel bad about dumping it. I needed the space. It needed to go. There's not enough room in this town for the both of us. So yeah. Hang on. I am going to change this stinking thing back, since it didn't help. I might have to contact my internet provider and say, what's up with my stream, man? What is up with my stream? Boom. So, I was going to show you guys something else, and what was it? Oh, I forgot the book. The book's the first thing that we do, and I totally forgot about it. This week's book is this. I got this. This is a Schiffer book. So years ago, there was that military book club. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but so I was a member of the military book club years ago, and I thought that's where I got this, but maybe not. But this is biography, obviously, of Hans Joachim Marseille. And however the heck you say that. If I said it wrong, which I'm sure I did, sue me. And it's pretty good. I have not read this in quite a number of years. It's got some interesting photos in it. It's got, oh, I forgot about that. It's got the battle order for the Luftwaffe and the RAF here in the back. And what is this? JG27 duty roster. Ooh, interesting. So, you know, it just goes through this whole his whole career, starting Battle Britain, and then well, no, was he in the Star of Africa? Was he in the Spanish Civil War? I don't think so. I don't think he was old enough. Anyway, so he joined up in the late 30s. So obviously, he participated in operations over the English Channel and things like that before JG-27 went to Africa. But you know, there's quite a bit of here. Let me do this. There's quite a bit of there's a lot of photos in here. Interesting stuff. Battle of Britain, okay. But it's a pretty good book. I think I only read it once. But there's Rommel. You know, a lot of pictures of personnel. What is that? Oh, that's his rudder, so that's 84, and then he's got 3 more. And if I remember right, it ends. Yeah, so there's his body. The British gave him a full honors burial, if I remember. Or was it the British? I don't know. I'll have to read it again. It's been a while. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty complete. Put it that way. I was looking to see. You know, I don't know. Oh no, Kesselring gives a eulogy at Marcel's gravesite. Okay, so I for some reason was thinking that he ended up behind enemy lines, but apparently not. This is the only one of these books that I have. There's like this whole series, and some of them are pretty good. They got one on Hartman, they got one on Riddell. And these were expensive back in the day. I mean, these were like $40-50 back, you know, in the 90s or whatever. So I'm sure they bring a pretty penny now. When was this? Eagle Edition, Sedona, Arizona, 1994. Translated from the German by Don Cox. Published by Schiffer, Atglen, Pennsylvania. Write for your free catalog. Please include $2.95 postage. Remember those days? Free catalog. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope too. All right. So there's our book for the day. Okay. The only other thing I thought I would talk about. So, there was a discussion going yesterday and today on one of the Facebook groups about, well, it was about Glacier Girl. The subject was Glacier Girl, but really what it ended up, really it was interpreting photographs is what it kind of ended up being about. And well, at least in my head. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about interpreting old black and white photographs and why it doesn't compare to digital at all. Um, so black and white film basically it pulls everything in at the same level, at the same light level. So you don't really get what am I trying to say? Trying to figure out how to explain this, and I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Anyway, the bottom line is the way the film works. With film, you can filter out with black and white film because there's no color involved. You know when you take a black and white picture with a modern digital camera, grayscale is not black and white. You have to realize that. That's two completely different things. So you can't just put a picture in a software program and turn it to grayscale and, oh, look, I have a black and white photo. No, you don't. But anyway, going back to the black and white film and the filters. So you filter, when you put a filter on a film camera, you're filtering the light before it gets to the film, right? So what happens when you put a color filter on, you're filtering that color out of the image, and it's backwards how you think it would work. So what happens is you put a red filter on, which intensifies the reds that are coming into that are falling onto the film, right? And so what does that do? If the reds, if you have more red hitting the film than you do blue and green, because you're cutting back the blue and green, you blow out the reds. So the reds get lighter or white. Okay. And the same goes for a green filter. So there's green, blue, yellow, and red, and there's variations in there. Yellow's pretty common, green's pretty common, red's pretty common. So you use like a green to make grass and stuff look lighter. You'll use a blue to lighten the sky, and you use a red filter to lighten red things, like red leaves, during the fall or whatever. Anyway, so the point is, a lot of times you will see photographs with aircraft or whatever that have insignia on them or whatever that should have red in them, but that doesn't look like they do. And it's because they used a red filter when they took the picture, and it filtered the red out to white. And what gets confusing nowadays for people is everybody's so used to digital photography now that, well, I put a red filter on my digital camera and that's not what happens. You're right. It's not what happens because it's not black and white film. It doesn't work the same. A black and white film camera does not work like your eyeball. So, what am I saying? What am I thinking? So anyway, it's something to be aware of when you're looking back at these photographs from World War II or whatever, or even the 50s. I mean, I was having a discussion with somebody at one point a while back, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, and they were saying that F-86 was in service prior to 47 because there was no, I think it was the F-86, because there was no red bar showing in the insignia on the fuselage. And so, of course, that ended up going down this path of, well, yeah, because they took the picture with a red filter on the camera and it filtered the bar out in the national insignia. So, yeah, it looks like a World War II national insignia, but it's not. You know, so those are things to be aware of. And part of this thing, something that came up from somebody in this current discussion was, well, it's not like these guys are professional photographers and had all this equipment with them and what this and that and the other thing. Yeah, I mean, well, maybe. I mean, the military had photographers, and I would consider those guys professionals. But what I will tell you about photography up even through the 70s is people, prior to there being a whole lot of color print film being used and Instamatic cameras and all that stuff, your picture taking ability was a thing of pride. And you know, you didn't just until auto exposure and stuff came along, auto metering and stuff came along, you know, you had to have a meter and you had to manually set the camera, and you had filters and you used them and you knew what they were for and you used them. And that's just as an amateur, run-of-the-mill person just taking family photos and vacation photos and stuff. That was not an uncommon thing for somebody to know how all that stuff worked together and when you used what. So the idea that you had to be a professional photographer to understand all that stuff back in those days is completely false. There's no truth to that at all. I mean, it was a different world. We get so caught up in what's going on right now that nobody really stops to think and put things into context and what things were like 60, 70, 80 years ago. You know, and yeah, starting up trouble. I'm not starting trouble. I'm just trying to educate. But, so you know what I'm saying. I mean, you know, it's easy for us. You put batteries in it, you put a memory card in it, it's auto metering, this, that, and the other thing, and you take 800 pictures, and you go home, and you load them onto your hard drive, and, you know, a couple of years from now, you wonder how you ended up with 4 terabytes of crap on a hard drive that very little of it's any good. But that's a discussion for another day. But no, so the point being that yeah, it would not be unusual for even an amateur photographer in the 40s to have a somewhat decent camera and have filters and know how to use them, and have a light meter and know how to use it. That wouldn't be odd at all. And the even bigger point being, film does not work like a digital sensor. And no, you cannot take a photograph, even if it is a black and white film photograph, and put it into a software program and filter it after the fact and get the same result. It doesn't work that way at all. So if you're looking at a picture and something looks weird on an insignia or something, or you know, just think about those filters and that whole idea. Actually, let me show you something. Show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Desktop. Okay. So this, you know, is a color picture through a red filter, whatever. Not really relevant. So here on the right side, this is black and white photo, no filter. This is a black and white photo with a red filter. So this is a red flower. We know this is a red flower because we put a red filter on it and it turned to white. So I know that this is a red flower just because of that. But you can't take this original image on the right here, throw it into Photoshop, and stick a red filter on it, because you won't get this middle picture. You'll get this one on the left is what you'll get. You have to do it before the image hits the film. And it doesn't work with digital. So, there you are. Where am I? Here I am. Okay. So yeah, so that's that. What's the only other thing I got is the FW190, which is sitting over here waiting for me to get all of this junk out of the way so that I can pull my display case back from the wall and put this in the display case. So that guy is the video is pretty much done. So I took about 5 hours of video and I chopped it down to like 12 minutes, 12 or 13 minutes, which wasn't easy. And I'm still not convinced it's really great, but so really all I want to do right now is I want to go back and add some subtitles in at certain places. You know, and then I'll post that up. So I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I actually had to come up with a different program that gave me a little bit more flexibility to do some stuff in order to make that all work with the audio and being able to do audio stuff that I needed to do to make it kind of work. So hopefully that what am I doing? Man, I'm all messed up. There we go. So hopefully I'll get that out here in the next day or two. I'm off on Tuesday, I think. So we'll take a look at that. But that's it for now. There's some other things cooking, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to commit myself. But yeah, I don't know. You know, there might be some special projects showing up somewhere along the line. Again, Saturday's the last day for this SA2 kit. It's pretty cool. If you want it, send me a photo. You know the drill. All right? Hey, that's it. Take care of the people you love. We'll see you next time. Bye now.